Alright, trying to get set up here. I'll be all situated here in just a minute. Hey, Martin. Yeah, we just getting situated here. I don't know how long I'm going to stream tonight, but we'll see. And I got 3 phones running here keeping track of everything. It's a bit much at times. Hopefully I'll have a new camera soon. Then I won't have to use the old phone. I'll mount it permanent and make it easier. This app I'm using called Alfred or something, camera app. They just came out with their own standalone camera. Not very big, but supposed to be good night vision, full HD, all that stuff. And it's half price for pre-order, so $20 free shipping. So I signed up for it. It's supposed to come out here in about, I don't know, 7, 8 days. So I don't know how much the bugs will zap, but it really cooled off. It's 76 degrees, but must be no humidity or something. We got a little bit of a breeze, so it feels nice. I'm not sure why the color changes the way it does on that camera, but It's a pretty cool app though. It's a full featured security camera. I paid $30 for a year's service to get a few more features, but it wasn't bad though. I can record up to 7 days and go back and look at it and all that. It's just hard to find a dedicated way to set the phone up. So the little camera that they're invented, they come out with, be a lot better. I have to cover it or put something over it, keep the rain from soaking it. But other than that, it'll be all right. I've noticed some of the music I've been playing has been getting these streams blocked permanent. So if that happens, I'll just download it. Well, it saves it on the computer anyway. And then make like a little highlight reel or something, re-upload it. I don't care about copyright, none of that. That doesn't affect anything, but sounds like rain coming in, but I'm not 100% sure. I have to check the old radar, see what's what. And no rain in sight. So that's good at least. I do that with 22s, man. I swear, them things are like rabbits, man. You find them multiply everywhere. Man, I know I've told the story before, but it always reminds me when people talk ammo, like finding it. Being in high school, I went to jail if it happened today, but it's back in about 2000 or so, somewhere around there. We had a home ec kind of class, whatever they called it, and part of it was sewing, part of it was cooking, which I only took it just to cook. I knew how to cook anyway, but excuse to eat during school. So anyhow, I had all my stuff done, and wasn't much going on that next day, which was a Friday. Teacher said, told me if I wanted to bring something in to sew or whatever, she'd help me with it. I ain't real good at that. But anyhow, she I brought in my orange hunting vest. I wanted to put a rabbit pouch on the back. So I didn't think nothing of it. I grabbed it, throwed it in the backpack, brought it in. The thing was kind of heavy material. So she says, turn it inside out and I'll show you how to get started on it. So I turned it inside out and about six 12 gauge shells hit the floor. I was scared to death. I was like, oh man. So she took them and told me to meet her off school property down at the end of the road after school and she'd give them back to me. And she did. Not a word was said. I didn't do it on purpose. She knew nothing crazy was going on. It was just one of them things. But I always think about it. We didn't get along too well at first in that class. I don't know why, but I kind of fixed her a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't have, but our final project had to pick pretty much any recipe we wanted and make it. And she would buy all the groceries. We had a $10 budget. So I made chicken Alfredo or some kind of pasta dish, whatever it was. It was a shrimp dish, but shrimp was too much, so I swapped it for chicken. And she'd been on everybody's case for this, that, and the other. So I snuck in a habanero pepper, cut that thing up, gave her that whole pepper in one bite. Never had no trouble out of her after that, though. Kind of felt bad in the long run. Depending on health conditions and whatnot, that can be not a good thing to eat, but it all worked out. Gotta make me some coffee. Drinking instant tonight. I didn't feel like making a whole pot. I used to bring coffee to school with me every morning. I had a mug back then. Oh, whatever happened to it, but it was insulated, but it would hold a whole pot of coffee. The thing was huge. I'd drink one all day until lunch. I got a friend that grows them Trinidad scorpions, them world's hottest peppers. Then he makes jelly out of it. That stuff's too hot for me. But yeah, I remember I only messed up one thing in that cooking class, and it was a pure accident. I had these real old stoves, and I remember on the right above the oven door there was a lever that stuck out. I don't know, a couple inches, and it was a self cleaning switch. And once you started it, it did not have any like override to shut it off. It had blueberry muffins in it, and I accidentally hit that switch. Man, them things were like worse than hockey pucks. Charcoal briquette, smoke everywhere. So she let me do it again, and it turned out fine. But yeah, it was just one of them things. But yeah, I'm getting anxious to start my new job. But man, it's been almost 6 weeks already. I'm still waiting. They're cutting into my extra hours I could be getting right now, so it's kind of aggravating. If you want to try a good hot sauce, if you can find it in your area, I don't know what state you're in, but the best one that I've ever had, and it's not real hot, but it's got a really good flavor, and that's Crystals. It took me 2 years to find it here, though. Everybody used to carry it, and they quit for whatever reason. But it's kind of mild, but just like I said, I like to use it as a base, and then put a couple drops of something hotter in it if you want to up the heat. But it's just got a good flavor. But it's called Crystals. They make an extra hot version, but I've never had it. I actually found it at the Dollar Tree of all places. So I bought like 4 or 5 bottles of it. But it's real good though. Made from cayenne pepper. Yeah, crystals, man. That's always been my favorite. I'm not going to say there's no heat to it, but it's really on the mild side. But some of that stuff is so hot, I don't get any flavor out of it. But there's some people though that can't detect the heat, and they can actually taste the pure flavor out of those habaneros and all that crazy stuff. I saw a guy not too far from me up Columbus. There's a place called K John's Fiery Foods. He specializes in hot sauces. Makes like these world's hottest stuff and all that. And there was a young boy, he's a little bit older than me, I guess, and he was on their show, and he could eat all that stuff, like drink the pure capsaicin from like India's hottest peppers. And to him, it was like a mild, you know, jalapeno or something. It didn't bother him. So he could tell them like, this has got fruity notes, or this has got a hint of a coffee or a chocolate flavor, or all that crazy stuff. They should hire the guy. I don't know if they did or not, but they should. He'd break out a little bit of a sweat, but he said he couldn't tell the heat. But still, who knows what it's doing to his ears? Said no rain or nothing, but sounds like thunder off in the distance, but it could be fireworks too. Hard to say. And the sky's clear for the most part. But I'm under my screened in umbrella, so I don't really care what it does. But the other night when I streamed, man, it was nuts. That zapper was going off nonstop. But we got a breeze going right now, so the bugs don't tend to gather quite as much. I'm still trying to prep though all I can, food wise and other stuff. I just picked up 4 bags of mix tonight so I can make some spaghetti sauce once the tomatoes are ready. Picked 3 decent sized cucumbers tonight, some potatoes. Kind of messed up some of my potatoes, but they'll be all right in the long run. I let them get uncovered and they turn green. They can be poisonous if they're green. But I can replant them though next year and they'll be fine. So I bought this zapper from Home Depot. It was one of the top rated 5500 volt, and all the parts are replaceable in it. So they got a bigger, well, different one. It's got a bigger light bulb in it, but I didn't need it. Every once in a while, though, some bugs will get on it that are too big to get in it. They get huge. There's a humongous beetle crawling around on my net. That thing must be 2 inches long. He's huge. He gets in there, he probably fry for a week. pretty crazy how well this phone picks up my voice, just like, I don't know, 8 or 9 feet away from me. It's really sensitive, I guess. Hopefully the camera will be just as good. Oh, I gotta tell this. I thought this was funny. I was on Facebook the other day, which I'm not a fan of Facebook, but whatever. And they've been advertising for the last year. We got an air show coming up. They're not having it till next year, but they're getting ready to start, pre-selling tickets and all that stuff. Blue Angels are headlining it. They haven't been to this location for 20 years. I never thought nothing of it, and people were starting to comment now that they said that it's right wing Trump kind of people that are having this air show. And I was like, that didn't make any sense. Well, come to find out that the air show is the same weekend as their Pride Festival up there. So they're blaming the air show people for trying to steal people away from their Pride thing. It's got not a thing to do with that. I mean, they can cancel the whole Pride thing. They should. But that's neither here nor there. But it's got nothing to do with it. It's just, that's when you can get the performers together, and that's the date they picked. Wasn't no right wing, nothing. I thought it was kind of funny. People got to freak out over everything. Not sure how much tickets will be, but they supposed to go on sale first of the month. Hoping I can rake up some cash. I want to buy me a new greenhouse before they sell them all out. They're $100. If I can start this job, I'll go get one, but no telling when that'll be. Not a big greenhouse, but it's bigger than what the little one that I got. A 4.5 by 4.5 by 6.5 foot tall. But I like it because the shelves are on the side and the center of it's open, so I can hang my heat lamp and all that kind of stuff there without directly cooking anything. I'm wondering, I know just a couple of us on stream, but if anybody knows how much is sweet corn this year in your area, it went up a lot here. I just bought some day before yesterday. $6 a dozen. And that was straight from the farm. If you buy it at the farmers markets and stuff, it's $8 a dozen. Last year I paid about 350. Yeah, sweet corn's a big thing here. Always has been. I got it from the Mennonites. Yeah, corn's like number one thing here. Corn, wheat, and soybeans. That's the three big things. And I just can't grow corn here at the house. I mean, I can, but I don't have the space to grow enough of it to make it worthwhile. So I bought 5 dozen and put it in the freezer. I'll get some more after a while. It's just now coming on anyway. Had to get me a new vacuum sealer. My food saver died on me yesterday, right in the middle of doing the corn. I got the first 3 bags done, no problem. The rest of them aggravated. I couldn't figure it out for the longest time what was wrong. Dad figured it out. The vacuum part of the machine worked fine, but it wouldn't seal. There was about a quarter inch, maybe about the size of your little finger, on the left corner that would not seal. The heating element was out, so I had to go get a new one. That was aggravating. Man, I got to tell you this. You'll get a kick out of this, and I don't understand it, but it happened to a friend of mine too, not just me. And I didn't know this at the time, but anyway, I went to farmers market last year, bought me some corn. I think I bought about 5 dozen or whatever it was, and they had the bicolor corn was one price. Silver Queen was a little bit cheaper. Normally, Silver Queen is more expensive, and it was always better corn. And I asked a guy, I was buying it, had it in bags, and this guy come up to me, just some other guy, he wasn't working there, and he said, "Man, you buying a lot of that Silver Queen?" I said, "Yeah, that's always good corn." He looked at me all funny. He says, "Wait a minute, you don't eat that, do you?" I said, "Well, yeah. Why? What's the problem?" He said, "Man," he said, "you can't eat Silver Queen. That's deadly poison, super toxic." He said, "We buy it and put it out in our fields, and in a night," he said, "I'll kill 10 to 15 coyote, 25, 30 coon, possums." He said, "Silver Queen's deadly, deadly poison." So my buddy was at another place, local farm up the road. And he stopped in and they had corn. He said, "Well, you got any Silver Queen?" The guy told him the same thing. Says, "What are you trying to do? Get rid of pests?" He's like, "I'm gonna eat it." And they're like, told him the same thing about it being deadly poison. And that's just ridiculous. I don't understand. The only thing I can think of is they was trying to put people off of it to get them to go to some of the more hybrid varieties. That's stuff that they can get more profit out of. I know Silver Queen seed's more expensive than regular, but just crazy. But yeah, the food saver I bought, it's called a Food Saver 2000. It's kind of a plain Jane model. Doesn't have the bag holder and all that, which I don't care. I bought it, um, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, whatever it was, eBay. The guy had them $40, $42. So I bought one. It looked like brand new. I only used it once or twice. Seemed to be all right. Didn't have any issues. And like I said, it died on me. So I went to Walmart, bought the same one, $95. Put the eBay, went back in the box, took it back to Walmart, and got a full refund. So that worked out all right. Kind of surprised too. They didn't ask for no kind of ID. Didn't ask nothing. I mean, I had it received. I only bought the new one like an hour beforehand. I didn't lie or nothing. I just told her it didn't work, and it didn't. So that worked out all right in the long run. And then it didn't take no time to get that corn done. But I do know one thing. I hate electric stoves. I had that water on for over an hour and it wouldn't even boil. Brand new stove too. They've all got a energy saver or whatever they're calling it. The elements don't stay on long enough. Normally I can use my propane one. It'll boil water real fast. But I was back at Mom's church putting that in the freezer, so I thought I'd just do it all back there, and that ended up being a mistake. Depending on the weather this week, I might take a day and make some jelly. I'll make cherry and apple. Jelly is super easy to make. It tastes better than store bought stuff. I'm just really limited on space is my problem. If I had a place for a bigger machine, I might go that route, but I'm just really limited. So that's been my only thing. But I haven't canned anything for a while. The last I did, a month or so back, I did 19 pints of pineapple that they had on sale at the store for 82 cents a piece. I got sick of cutting up pineapple. I got it done. But if you ever want to try to make jelly, though, there's a product I highly recommend, and I've used it and it works. Because you got to use Pectin typically to get it to set. Whoa. Whoa. I gotta clip that out of the final video, make a highlight reel of that. That's like the longest zap ever. He was straight arcing off of it. Man, that was a zap and a half. But anyway, back to making jelly. Uh, what I use is we can get it at any grocery store. Uh, Juicy Juice is name brand because they got a lot of different blends or whatever kind of flavors you want. But it's all 100% juice, nothing added. There he goes again. That's the same bug too. That bug's still in there. I can see it. But there's something you have to probably order. A lot of stores don't carry it, but it's not that expensive, and it's called Pomona's Pectin. It's a natural pectin for jellies and stuff, but the advantage is you can make it with any amount of sugar you or sweetener you want and any kind of sweetener. Doesn't matter if you need some diabetic kind of sweetener or just you want low sugar, use any kind you want. Some of those recipes for actual jelly is insane. They're like 3 and 4 cups of sugar for a pint of jelly. It's just too much, too sweet. You don't taste the fruit. And the only downside, which is not a big deal to me, if you make the full sugar versions, they'll last forever. If you make the lower sweetener versions, then they say about 18 months on the shelf, which is still plenty. And it runs about $5 a box. Pectin. You can get quite a bit out of a box, but since you're not using so much sugar, the price kind of equals out. But yeah, it's called Pomona's Pectin. And you can call the company. They're real nice. They talk you through it. But every box comes with a big recipe book in it. Tells you how to do it. Real easy. But the way that it works, though, with the regular pectins, you got Sure-Gel and there's all kinds. They use the sugar to make it set. Well, Pomona's, they come with a bag of, it looks like cornstarch, but it's pure calcium. And you take however much it says, spoon of it, mix it in water, a little bit of water, and dump that in. And as soon as you put it in there, man, you got to work kind of quick sometimes. It wants to set pretty fast. And then dump it in your jars, can it up, and you're good to go. Hot water bath it, or. But I've had really good luck with it. But what I use for my pickles and stuff, and I just bought for spaghetti sauce tonight, which I haven't tried their spaghetti sauce, but I'm sure it's good though. And it's called Mrs. Wages. You can get it at Walmart or about anywhere, but I can make stuff from scratch, but this is easy and it's cheaper. And it's still 99.9% natural. There's no like weird stuff in it. Like 250 or so a bag. Yeah, Pomona's Pectin, that's the name of it. You can Google it, it'll show right up. I don't know what grocery stores are in your area, but the last that I bought was from Kroger's website. Or you can get it on eBay or pretty much, anywhere. It's kind of common. Just depends on how well stocked your store is in those kind of items. Like I say, it looks a little more expensive, but since you're using less sugar, the price kind of equals out. I forget exactly how much each box makes, but it's a decent amount. But I'm still not sure on this Mrs. Wages stuff how it actually works because I looked at the ingredients for their pickle mix and it was all your common ingredients. But I could make a batch of pickles right now and in the morning they're ready to eat. I mean, they work that quick. And I don't know what speeds up the process, but something definitely does. Oh, got me a message. I got to check here. Trying to buy another Mr. Rogers item. If I can get a deal on it, that is. But I don't know if they'll cut me a break or not. I doubt it. think this would be a pretty cool item. They've got a Mr. Rogers theme park over in Pennsylvania. I forget the name of it, Idlewood or Idlewild Park. And there's a 6 inch long, 6 inch by 4 inch by 3 inch. I don't know what it's made out of. Some kind of a ceramic, I guess. But it's a bank. And it's got all the characters on the side and the trolley and all that. I'm trying to buy it. I'll post a picture of it over in the Discord. I'm not sure if I'll get it, but I've had pretty good luck in the past talking people down. This one, I don't know. Be a good deal though if I can get it. I'm not sure how old it is or anything, but I don't think it's crazy old. But I don't see a date on it nowhere. Got a tag on the bottom, but can't read it. So I'll just have to see. I need to make a video sometime on the other channel and show the whole collection. feels a whole lot cooler than what it is out. Like I say, humidity must have broke or something. But yeah, like I say, if you want to make just regular jelly, I kind of hate to spend the money on fruit and just destroy it. You know, now if you're making some kind of preserve or something, that's different. But well, we got a real mess here in town, and I'm afraid it's going to go through. But it's a charter. They're trying to make us a charter town, and once I read it, man, it's like a full dictatorship, saying they can raise property taxes anytime they want. No more levies on the ballot. They just do it automatically. No more having a mayor. A whole bunch of stuff. And they changed the location of where everybody has to vote. And the majority of people were never told. So they're trying to sneak it through. And it's horrible. So I've been trying to let people know what's going on. Man, that's the last thing we need. We need less government, not more. And the wind's starting to really pick up, blowing everything around. Somebody letting off bottle rockets behind me. If this wind would calm down, the bugs will pick back up. didn't know it was supposed to be this windy tonight. Man, I hate this Macari app. I mean, that's all right to buy stuff, but they're too picky. They just flagged my message to the seller because I gave her my Facebook info. But luckily, she got the info before they flagged it, so that worked. It's kind of like Facebook Marketplace kind of deal. I've only sold on it once, but I mean, it works all right though. I bought several things from it though. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to stream real late tonight, but we'll go for a while though. Just have to see what goes on. Yeah, they're still zapping. Hey Gizmo, yeah, they were asking 45. I'm trying to get her down to 25. They still make the bank. She told me. I'm trying to get them down. So I got her down to 25. She's originally they was $10 at the theme park that they've got over there, and they still sell them. She said brand new, but I don't know what the price is now. But they were introduced in 1992, so she let me have it. I was able to get her on Facebook before Macari blocked the message, and showed her the rest of the collection. So since she knew that I was actually a collector, then that's how I've got most of my stuff. Sometimes that doesn't work though. They see you're a collector, then they try to charge you more, but in most cases it works out. But Gizmo, I had to laugh when you found that hot sauce out of that picture I took. I didn't look at him too close. Just happened to see that and started laughing. bought the bank. $33, but well. I'm sure they're probably cheaper at the theme park, but that's 3.5, 4 hours away. So, oh well. That's the first thing I've bought in a little while for the collection. She had a couple of them though, so not a rare item by any means, but I hadn't seen one. I did learn about his autograph though. They said was very unique. Generally, in the world of autographs or well any collectible, the more that's out there, the more the person signs, the less it's worth. Not in this case. The archives told me during the height. They didn't say what years. I'm assuming probably in the 80s. But during the height of the show, he was getting 25 to 30,000 pieces of mail a month from kids and stuff. And he would respond with a letter or a photo or something to every single one of them. No separate. And they had to hire a staff just to open letters. And that was his thing to always make sure they were signed, something was sent back. But nobody really wanted to get rid of them. Yeah, he signed a lot, but people kept it. So that was kind of the reason. And that's a crazy amount of mail. There was an actress, I'm wanting to say Audrey Hepburn, but I could be wrong. And as a kid, he met her somewhere and wanted to talk to her, like an autograph or something. Well, she kind of snubbed him, didn't want to pay attention to him. So at that moment, he made it his personal thing that if he ever got into a position, which he never thought he would, but ever got into a position where he would have a fan or somebody want to talk to him, he would never snub anybody. So once he passed on, David Newell, who played Mr. McFeely, the delivery guy, um, he's the PR guy now. So he does like TED Talks and goes to colleges and here and there. But he made it a point to carry on that tradition or whatever you want to call it of answering letters. So I sent him a letter back February, March, somewhere around there. 25 days after I sent it, I got a whole packet of stuff in the mail. 2 signed photos, a 5-page letter, and some other odds and ends. So it was pretty cool. There's a website that I found. I forget the name of it right offhand, but it's where just autograph collectors are and people, post addresses and whatnot. And that's how I found it. Some of it kind of surprised me though. There were people on the site that had sent requests out to different celebrities for autographs, and most of them, 5, 6 months, whatever, they'd get a response. But one guy sent one to some woman. I forget who she was now. 10 years went by and he finally got a reply. That's a long time. He'd forgot about it and gave up, but that's a pretty cool site because they told me what I needed to send and how to do it. And so I wrote him a letter and said a bunch of stuff, and actually sent him two photos of my collection, which he was really impressed with. So he typed me up a letter and all that. Well, about a week ago, yeah, a week or so ago, I did get another item. It's not not a puppet or nothing like that, but I found out back in '88. Oh, there we go, smoker. Dang. Well, anyway, there was a guy. I don't know his name, but he worked on the show and helped with the model, the neighborhood model that was shown in the beginning and the ending of the show, little scale model. But there was had the buildings and whatnot, and they would use it as a cutaway too if he was going to the bakery or music shop or going wherever. Well, there was no trolley on it, so the guy was like, "Well, Mr. Rogers is really a stickler on how he likes things done, but we're going to try it anyway." So he built an HO scale model of the trolley and set it up on there. And it's kind of funny though; it's not motorized. Piece of scotch tape and a string is what they pulled it with, but it worked out. So I got a magazine article from Model Trains magazine, and it's got a two-page article about how they build it and pictures of it, and the whole run's only 29 inches. So I'm going to take the magazine to a local print shop just next street over, have them copy it for me onto some heavier paper, then I'm going to frame it. So that was pretty cool. But, excuse me, as I've said before, though, you know, the world's nuts, as we know, and it's nice to be able to have fun with something that takes you away from that temporarily. And that was his whole thing was make believe is great. You know, it's an escape from reality. You go have a little bit of fun, whatever. But at the same token, it's not real. You got to go back and face reality eventually. So, kind of fun. I've equated it to like a cell phone. You could have the fanciest one on the market, but no matter what you do, eventually you will have to plug it in and charge it. You know, we're no different. So it's fun to do all that. And since I've got all the episodes downloaded, I noticed over time they would reuse like different themes and stuff, same storylines, and you can see how the different actors and stuff would do from when they were younger to being older. Lady Aberlin Betty, too bad she's liberal, but that's neither here nor there. But I talked to her a few years ago on Twitch when they had a marathon. That was pretty cool. But something that I didn't know, and I may have mentioned this before, but it makes sense though, but it didn't right off until she explained it. He had a, I wouldn't call it a rule, but he strongly advised if you was in that particular episode, he didn't want you to watch it. Now you could watch the other episodes, but not one that you was in. And she said the reason for that was if you watched an episode that you were in, you would then become camera conscious and it just wouldn't be your natural self on the screen again. You know, next time you had to do an episode, whether it was in the reality side or interacting with the puppets, whatever. So he wanted it to be as natural, and that's why it flowed so well. And that made perfect sense, but I just never thought of it, you know, right off. But there's a lot of die-hard collectors and stuff out there and fans. I'm surprised nobody's built the house. I mean, that was a movie, a set, you know, they put together in studio, obviously. But I'm surprised nobody's tried to build a house like that. with that decor and the kitchen and all of that. They sold, well, at least it was on the market there a while back, a house that he lived in for years, for real, but nobody did the TV house, whatever you want to call it. Wouldn't think it would be that hard to do. I mean, if you had a house already that was kind of laid out in that fashion, I don't think it'd be that hard to replicate, but just surprised nobody's done it. I'm sure I would have heard about it if they did. I watched a documentary a while back, and he talked about getting ripped off. I don't know if you call it a scam or not, but kind of was in a way. Back early on, he wanted a record album made, so kids could listen to music. They didn't have no money. They only had a budget of $20 an episode. They recycled a lot of material from when they was in Canada, but the record company, whoever they were, said, "We'll produce your album for free, no charge, if you sign over the rights to your music." Well, he didn't realize signing over rights to the music meant every time they used any of it, they had to pay a royalty. So he did for a while, and then he thought, I wrote all them songs. I don't need to pay them a royalty. I'll just write new stuff. It'll probably be better than what I had. So that's why a lot of it changed over the years. Kind of cool. I see there's still three of us here. One of them I think's me, though. I'm not exactly sure who's all here. That thing doesn't update all that often. Marin, you still here? Just making sure. We're getting some good zaps every now and then, though. Man, there's an item I've been recommending to people, and I like it. I've used it a lot. I'm actually using it now. It's a power inverter that I bought from Home Depot. It runs on Ryobi. I bought their toolkit a while back out of one of them COVID checks they mailed out. Where you get like the drill and the driver and the saws and all in the same bag. So I had the batteries and all. So they run deals all the time. $100 for the battery and charger. And then you get a free tool off of this list. And they got a 100-watt power inverter. And that thing really comes in handy. I use it a lot. And since I've got, several batteries, so I use it when I'm out here, like I am now, charge my phone or whatever, anything small like that. 100 watts, I mean, that's not a lot, but it's enough for around the yard. So if I'm out here working and doing stuff, I can run run my radio, on my phone. I don't have to worry about the battery. But I mainly got it for if I need to use my glue gun or my soldering iron. I can take the tool to the project instead of being tied to an electrical outlet somewhere, which is kind of difficult. So it's a pretty handy little thing. And it lasts quite a while on one drill battery. I haven't had any issues with this Ryobi stuff. I mean, I'm sure it's not good if you're going to use it 8 hours a day for, make a living. But for around the house, around the yard kind of stuff, works fine. took a chance on it. I got the whole big toolkit for I think $2.99, something like that. Free shipping. Got 31 subscribers to this channel now. I had I think 17, I believe. Then Matt over there at Canned Fish Files, sardine guy, guru, I guess you'd say. He gave me a shout out there last week, and it almost doubled the amount of subs to the channel. That was pretty cool. Yeah, they work pretty well. I got their Sawzall, reciprocating saw, and I had to change my opinion on that. I thought it sucked, to tell you the truth. But I had blades, cheap blades. I got a whole like 10 pack for like $7, Harbor Freight. Them are the worst blades ever made. They shouldn't even be allowed to sell them. It took me 15 minutes to cut a 2x4 in half, and the board actually caught fire from the friction. Them things are so dang dull that vibrate the heck out of you. I thought it was a soul. So I talked to somebody else that knew more about blades and this, that. I went on eBay and bought me two blades. One's actually a pruning blade for tree branches, and the other is just an all around metal wood, but they're Diablo, like $8 a blade. So I got it, put that blade in. Shoot, that'll cut a 2x4 in half like it's butter. I cut nails in half like they were paper. That saw doesn't vibrate or nothing. It works great. I just had crappy blades. Harbor Freight's good for some things. Other stuff is just junk. And they were brand new blades, but they were so stinking dull. I mean, they wouldn't do nothing. But like I say, Diablo though, those are nice. It's made to cut up to 1/4 inch metal and wood. And me and Dad was building a gate there last week, and I had to cut some nails off the pallet we were using. And like I say, it zipped right through them like they weren't even there. Yeah, carbide teeth. Yeah, I haven't used the pruning blade yet. Well, take that back. I cut a log in half that I had for firewood, about 4 inches around or so, just to try it, and it did pretty good on that. It's about 9 inches long. But that carbide one, man, that's a wicked blade. And I don't use them all that often, but it'll last me a long time. But when you need it, you need it. They're like $20 a blade in the store, but eBay had it cheaper. The only negative I had was with both sellers. They sent me both blades. They were fine, but they were just loose in a bubble wrap envelope. So when I opened them, man, I nicked my finger on one of them. That was the only downside. They should have been wrapped in something, I think. And I told both sellers that. If you was like having trouble getting the package open and just tried to rip it, you could have really cut yourself. I didn't give them bad feedback or nothing, but I told them. Yeah, for my purposes, they'll last me a long time. I think it's a 6 inch carbide blade or something like a 6, 7 inch. I don't know. Plenty long enough anyway. I don't really cut a whole lot of metal, but when I'm cutting up scrap wood to burn it and whatnot, you do run into nails and stuff. So I wanted to have something halfway decent. But the pruning blade, though, that's just for tree branches and whatnot. Like I say, some Harbor Freight stuff's all right, but some of their other stuff, not so much. Some of their power tools are all right. Got a pair of their metal shears. They work pretty good. But again, I wouldn't want to use it if I worked 8 hours a day with it. I'd get something better. But around the house kind of stuff, and some of them tools, you hardly ever use them, but it's nice to have them when you need them. And they're good for them odd tools that you just don't see everywhere, and they got a lot of odds and ends stuff. Yeah, I got like I said, I got the sawzall, reciprocating saw, whatever you want to call it, the drill, the driver, a flashlight, and a circular saw, all in the same kit. Oh, and I got an oscillating tool, they call it, where you can put like a sanding head on it or a little flat bladed thing that'll cut. I don't use it much, but it does work pretty good though. Like a triangle sanding head. It comes in handy for some things. But it's a nice kit though. I got 3 chargers, 3 batteries. I think I actually got more than 3 batteries. I'd have to count, but yeah, that Diablo blade, the carbide, when it even says it'll cut brick, cut masonry. I never tried that, but I don't really see me doing that. But it says it'll do it. Now the circular saw will drain a battery fairly quick. It takes a lot of juice to keep it going, but when I use it, I'm generally not cutting a ton of stuff. I got to do a whole lot of cutting. I'll just get the power and plug it in. But for a quick cut, 2 or 3 cuts here and there, that's pretty good. Whoa, I thought I heard something walking around out here. I can't get him on camera. He took off. Got a big old possum out here. He was a big one. He's right underneath my camera, walking underneath the tripod. I try not to mess with them too much. They eat a lot of ticks and junk. Yeah, he was a pretty good sized one. He wandered off though. I don't know where he went. Yeah, I heard something crunching through the gravel, so I looked, turned my flashlight on and looked. And that's what it was. There a while back, I had a bag of trash laying out here, and I went to pick it up, throw it away, and there was a possum in the trash bag. We got all kinds of critters around here: possums, coons, tons of squirrels, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, possum, like a red green show. Yeah, possum lodge. That was a good show back in the day. I still watch it on YouTube. You're like a Canadian redneck, I guess you'd say. It was definitely a popular show in its time. You ever seen a show, Martin? Red Green Show? If you haven't, it's worth checking out. Yeah, I actually used one of the segments, so a quote from it, in one of my papers I wrote when I was in school, college. It was a good quote though. It was Dougie Franklin. He was the monster truck, guy, and they were doing one of their expert segments talking about cars and what was the best car ever made was the thing. And he was really going off on this tangent. But his quote that I really liked was he said, I'm trying to remember how he exactly worded it. Oh, when he's talking about best, like what is the best car? The best is really subjective based on the observer's frame of reference. And And he was right. I mean, when somebody says this is the best, whatever, that's based on their reference, what they've experienced, been around. So it was kind of cool when I worked it into the paper. But my favorite episode, well, there's two of them, but the main one was Taxidermy Shootout was the name of it. And it would have been a blast to do it for real, though. He talked about hunting being a controversial sport nowadays. So the taxidermy shop business was just no good anymore, falling off the table. So the guy, Artie, who ran taxidermy shop, didn't have no money, no business. So he come up with an idea to take all of the stuffed animals that he had made over the years, unclaimed articles and different things, propped them up all over the forest, and you paid a $10 fee to go out and hunt all the dead animals. Like no stalking, you don't have to be quiet, no tracking. And I'm like, man, that'd be fun. I'd pay $10 to do that. Yeah, the camera's actually looking pretty good tonight. I'm going to be getting a new camera though, Gizmo. I don't know if you was here earlier when I said it or not, but this app that I'm using called Alfred, it turns any old cell phone into a security camera, so it works pretty good. But they just getting ready to release their new standalone camera, so I'm gonna buy one. They're not very big, looks like about a 2 or 3 inch cube, and it's night vision, and it's got all the features, got anything you want, anything the phone will do. So I'm gonna get one and then permanently mount it. That way I can start these streams, and a lot easier than to set anything up. They're going to be $40 plus shipping, but with their pre-order thing, they're doing it for $20 free shipping, so that works. Hey, Martin, yeah, Red Green even mentioned Mr. Rogers one time. I always laughed about that. It was when Harold was getting a car, got his license, and he's like, I don't really need a car and all that. Red looked at him like, well, do you want to end up like Mr. Rogers? He said, imagine how his image would have been different if Mr. Rogers had a fully blown Corvette. He said he'd have been peeling rubber up and down Sesame Street. I had to laugh. But Gizmo, you cracked me up when you posted that picture of that hot sauce. I didn't even see that. That was funny though. That Shaquanda or something, whatever it was funny. There's a lot of people that collect hot sauce stuff, but I do like that Mexican one that you mentioned, whatever the name of it was, with the wooden cap. Started with a C is all I can remember. It's pretty good. I like to use the crystals and use it a little heavier for the flavor, and then add just a little bit of that Mexican one for the heat, and they seem to work out pretty good. They got several varieties of that too, but I'm not a big fan of the flavored hot sauces. seeing what's going on up in Akron, and not a whole lot. That was a pretty crazy thing though up there. Shot that dude like 60 times, but that's why you don't run. Man, there's a great big old bug on the zapper, but he ain't went in yet. He's walking around. Yeah, sometimes the camera makes it look more white, and other times it gets more that bluish purple color. I'm not sure if it's the autofocus or something. Normally, if I run my hand across the lens, it'll go back to being that purple color. But sometimes it just fluctuates. Hey, Bam, I just saw where you subbed to the channel. Thanks. Yeah, I'm still going to use the main channel. I haven't give up on it. Still got 4,800 and change subscribers. But the protests and stuff have all been lame. So I've been uploading some Mr. Rogers stuff every day, just having fun. But yeah, yeah, he was turning his life around, and he was running because he was late for class, at school and all. But you know how it is. They can't get ahead in this world. So there's people actually trying to defend him, saying that, I mean, it's on camera where he fired the shot out of the car. You see a muzzle flash, traffic camera or something. And they're like, well, he didn't aim, so how do the cops know that he was shooting at them? It might have been an accident or shooting at somebody else. How do they know? And I'm like, that's stupid. He was unarmed though when they got him. They didn't know that. They found the gun and stuff in his car, but they had no idea. Yeah, ski mask. Yeah, man. Since we got a few people here, I'm curious. Been a thing around here for well, all summer. It could be 100 degrees out, and you'll see these teenagers mainly, some adults, but mostly teenagers, wearing heavy like winter sweatshirts, hoodies. It's like 100 degrees out. It's crazy. I mean, I'm cold blooded myself, but when it's that hot out, I definitely don't need a hooded sweatshirt. But it's popular now. You see it everywhere. Some of them will wear sweatpants, some shorts, but they just really bundle up year round. Well, there's a reason for it. I asked some of them out to the fair last month what the deal was, and I mean, I'm sure it's a trendy thing for most, but the answer I got was it helps with anxiety, like them, uh, vests you put on a dog. They call them thunder vests or weighted blanket, calm them down for thunderstorms. Same kind of idea. They feel, more relaxed the more layers they wear, which that may be true for some, but most of them are just doing it just to do it. Used to, the only ones you see do that were the drug addicts to hide their track marks on their arms and stuff, but it could be just a combination of all of it. Yeah, it's odd. I mean, I don't know. Now I have seen the Mexicans, like down at Walmart. They come in on this big bus, like a prison bus kind of thing, and they'll have heavy winter coats on when it's 100 degrees out, and they'll work that way and everything. It's crazy. Now I understand when you're in really hot environments like out in the desert, they always say wear long sleeves, but lightweight though, but keep you from getting burnt. That I understand, but not a parka. I'm surprised this camera I'm using even works. I left it out in the rain and it was soaked like 2 days. It didn't even want to work. It was all messed up. But I had to force it to restart. Finally got it to where it would charge. But it seems all right. That was a good phone at one time too, but can't use it now. The charging port died on it, so I took it to a repair guy in town. He fixed the charging port, but when he put it back together, it would never get a signal anymore. I couldn't use it. That sucked. But it works for this though. Once I get that new camera, depending on how well it works, I may get another one, put it on the other side of the house, maybe do some streams during the day of the bird feeders, the squirrel feeders. Get tons of wildlife running around. That might be kind of fun to stream. But the only reason I thought of this, you look on YouTube, you'll see videos with like 2 or 3 million views of 10 hours of watching grass grow or paint dry. One guy did 10 hours of watching a block of ice melt. Had 3,500 viewers live stream. Crazy. I don't know if I ever want to monetize this channel or not, if it ever takes off. Haven't really decided. You got to have 1,000 subs, I think, or something, or so many hours of people watching it. I forget all the requirements, but the only downside is if I don't monetize it, I can play music and get away with most of it. They don't care. But if you monetize it, then you get copyright strikes and all that. So I don't know. I doubt it really grows too big anyway. But hey, you never know. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But some of the music goes straight out block the video. So I think when that happens, I'll just download the video and make like a highlight reel and then re-upload that and be done with it. Not too big a deal. But sometimes I like playing music. I'm just really surprised how sensitive this microphone is on this phone. That thing's probably 10 feet away from me now. And I'm just talking low voice. I'm not even talking normal volume. And I can hear it come across this other phone just fine. I got the phone using it for a camera. I got my actual phone that I use. Then I got another old spare phone that I'm using to monitor the YouTube. That way I can see it the same way you guys can. They must have fixed their update. Hopefully I don't jinx myself, but it used to lose signal a lot. Seems to be doing all right. I haven't looked into too many security camera things, but that new one that they got, it's got a pretty good feature, I think. At least I call it a feature. It only takes an internet speed of 2 megabytes to get a good signal. And that's, I don't know anybody that's got internet that slow anymore. So, I mean, I got the 1 gig internet, 1 gig down, 1 gig up, but I'm, I don't know, 50 feet or so, 100 feet maybe, of the Wi-Fi router, which is in house. The phone don't pick it up super strong, but it does okay. Good enough, evidently. But if I can get the standalone camera, it'll be smaller and I can mount it permanent and just cover it up with something. I'll probably put it in some kind of container with a good sealed lid. And when I want to use it, I'll just open the lid and let it have a clear view. I want to experiment. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I want to try it. I may have to rig something up, but I've got a really nice night vision device, and that thing's amazing. It's like $800 night vision. I got it on eBay, but I used to use it years back for Skywatch. You'll see zillions of stars with it, but I don't have a way to hook it to the computer anymore. It takes an outdated plug-in. So I want to see if I can rig up something that I can kind of attach to that and then focus it in on the camera. See if I can get it to work. I don't know. I might be able to. If I could get something the right size, like a small cardboard tube, paint it black, inside and out, fit that over the eyepiece of the night vision, then into the back of the phone or whatever camera. Might work. But that's a pretty neat device. Digital night vision. Infrared, where I can make it black and white or red or blue or green. You can see satellites going by and just everything. You don't get a ton of detail on stuff in the sky, but it's still pretty cool. I can always look on flight radars and other stuff to see what's actually flying by. If anybody wants to donate to to me, I would appreciate it. See if my bot is here. Maybe not. My bot. Oh, there it is. I could definitely use it. That's for sure. I mean, I got that new job, like I said, but I have no idea when I'll get to start. Whenever my background check comes back, they said been averaging 6 weeks, but it's been about 5 now, so almost 6. I put it in on the 27th of May. Still waiting. Yeah, it's nice. Uh, One reason I like the night vision, though, if I can get it to work the way I want, is in the wintertime you get some crystal clear night skies, but it's so freaking cold out you can't go outside too long. So I can set it up that way and view it on the computer from in the house, and it works pretty good. That's why I've determined I get most of my UFO reports in November, typically. Wintertime is too cold, there's not enough people out. November, it's getting those wintertime crystal clear skies, but yet it's still not so cold no one's out. You don't get very many reports in the summer. The skies are just hazy and you just don't see as well. But yeah, if anybody can help me out, I'd appreciate it. But if not, that's fine too. It's cool just to have some viewers. Hopefully y'all enjoying the Discord. Gizmo gave me the idea though of doing the Mr. Rogers kind of theme or whatever you want to call it. You get the little welcome icons, and we got some if somebody gets kicked or just quits. So that's kind of neat. I'm not sure if that Cash App thing I got actually works or not. I've never actually used it, I don't think. I ain't sure how it says, but well, I don't know if I want to give it access or not. If I allow it to have access to my contacts, it says I can earn up to 15 bucks for free. I ain't sure how though. So yeah, I've never actually used it, as far as I know. That's definitely a popular app though, Cash App. I know a couple restaurants around here, Wendy's, and a couple locations. They were actually paying their workers. Well, one was paying every day. As soon as you clocked out for the day, you got paid through Cash App, and the other was a Rallies next town south. They were paying the next day when you clocked in for your next shift. They would pay you for the previous one. They said this new millennial generation didn't want to wait on a paycheck. They wanted paid daily, which I don't like that myself. I mean, it sounds good, but if you got bills to pay, you'll blow through the money quick as you get it, and then you're done. But if you get paid, every week, 2 weeks, whatever, it's a little easier to manage your bills. But them kind of people don't worry about that stuff anyway. But I will say though, over the last few years, y'all have been a huge help. While I was in school and all that, I would have never made it without all the support that I got. More than I deserved, but it was appreciated. Yeah, that flare or however you say it, flare, that's pretty good. Mine is actually it's a what they call it, monocular. You can look it up though. It's really expensive though if you buy it from company. But it's called Night Owl Optics, iGen 2020. I'm just drinking coffee, but they got a new version that I'd like to have. It's the same camera, same deal that I've got. Runs on 4 AA batteries and all that. But the newer one actually will take an SD card and you can take pictures of what you're seeing. Mine just has a video port like the old red, white, and yellow RCA jacks, your old TVs and stuff had. Mine has that, and I used to have an adapter, but I never could get it to work reliably on the computer. So kind of gave up on it. But I'd like to get it going again. It'd be fun to use this winter. But I'm thinking if I use one of either a cell phone or that new security camera or whatever, and just put them close together, you know, with a little piece of cardboard tubing or something just to block any extra light from getting in between. I might be able to get it to work. I just have to experiment with it. Then I can stream it, you know, no problem. Yeah, just drinking Maxwell House coffee, nothing fancy. But yeah, mine was made down in Texas, and it's got a lens cap for it that they sent me because it didn't come with it, but they sent me one. And it's got like a little tiny pinhole in it, so you can actually use the camera in the daytime. But the advantage of it is being digital night vision. I didn't know this after I bought it. If you get a normal like military night vision with the tube in it, if a bright light were to hit it, like from a car or a flashlight or something, you could burn it up. It'd fry. But digital, mine will just the screen gets white and it says overexposed. And then as soon as the bright light goes away, you know, it goes back to being just normal again. So it's a lot more friendly in that regard. But there's an app I use. Well, program on a computer. They might have an app too, but I use it for my UFO stuff. It's one of the first things I go to called Stellarium, and it's not all that complicated. It's a little confusing though, but once you get the gist of it, and I can look anywhere in the world and set up the night sky for any date that I want in the past, whatever, and it'll let you see like all the satellites that are going by, if there's any comets, asteroids, no airplanes, but everything that's not in the atmosphere, space stuff. And then you can click on the individual things, and it'll tell you, what it is, where it came from, if it's visible by the naked eye or not. Dad's seen one about a year ago. We were watching fireworks. Well, it was last Labor Day. Local church always puts on a huge fireworks show. And before they started, we seen this bright light going across the sky. It looked like space station, but it was going the wrong way. So I got home and looked it up, and it ended up being the body of a Chinese rocket that's been buzzing around. And then the other day, well, right before the fourth, we was out in the front yard, me and Dad was, and we seen two satellites go over. Didn't know what they was, so we looked. I looked them up, and they were built by some Israeli school kids. CubeSats, they call them. They're pretty small. Hold them in your hand. A kit that you can buy, and then put them together, program it to do pretty much anything. Like some will do weather stuff or other basic kind of stuff, but some got cameras on it, different things. But so I don't know what their purpose was, but the school kids built 8 of them and sent them up. We've seen a couple, so that was pretty neat. But it seems like every time you open that particular program, it automatically updates whatever the newest info is, and it's all free. They don't even have a paid version, as far as I know. So it's pretty cool. Then I got flight radars and whatnot for airplanes and all that. Yeah, well, probably tomorrow. I'm not gonna fool with it tonight, but tomorrow I'll check the recording of this stream and I'll find out one bug that really got zapped for like over a minute, and I'll make a highlight video of that. Because the YouTube shorts that I post a lot, they only allow you up to a minute. But that was like the longest zap that I've had. I'm thinking it'll catch fire once in a while. But I hope y'all's been prepping, the best you can. Some of the stuff I've been hearing from farmers and stuff, mainly online, but it's kind of scary. They're talking $15 to $20 a pound for chicken, $40 to $50 a pound for beef this fall. Scary stuff. Next year, you're going to see it really hard with the crops because they're out of fertilizer. And I don't see that getting any better. They had enough for this year for most people. I got a fertilized plant right behind the house. And I called them back in March and they were fully stocked, but they said once it sold, they didn't know what they was going to be able to get. A lot of the raw materials for it come from overseas, and with the whole Russia and Ukraine thing and other issues, can't get it. We just don't have the minerals here to do it. Farmers and stuff, they don't rotate crops much anymore like they should. They rely on fertilizer. So if you've got the means to do so, I would highly advise learning how to preserve food, whether it's what you grow or if you do happen to run into a deal somewhere, you can buy in bulk and then put it up for longer term. Freeze it or can it or whatever you can do. Canning is not hard. It's just a process you got to follow, but it's not hard. I basically taught myself. I watched a couple videos, but it's really easy. You just can't get in a hurry. That's the biggest mistake. People get impatient and then they screw up. And I've also learned it's best, if at all possible, to devote one day to one item. If you're going to can tomatoes, then just do tomatoes that day. Or whatever. Or at least until you're completely out of that one thing. Try to mix and match and do this and that. You can get mixed up, but I've canned all kinds of stuff. Meat, chili, just, all kind of veggies, fruit. There's not a whole lot of stuff that you can't do. There's some items you can't, but for the most part, and the info is all easily accessible on what you can and can't do and how to do it and all that. But guys, it's just hit midnight, So not much else going on. The bugs are quietening down a little bit. I think I'm gonna call tonight, go get me something to eat, and then crash out. And not sure if I'm going to stream tomorrow night. It's kind of hard to say. I know there's only a few of you here, but give me an opinion before I quit this for tonight. Um, I know you've all, subscribed to the channel and hit that little bell thing, whatnot. But what's the best way for y'all to get notified if I go live or I'm going to go live? Like, if I make my mind up earlier in the day, do you want me to make like a little YouTube short or post it in the Discord, or what way works best so you'll have an idea ahead of time? Sometimes I know, earlier in the day, I like to try to plan it out if I can instead of a last minute thing. So I just didn't know what way worked best for y'all. Because YouTube can be weird about actually notifying you. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Okay, Discord will work. I guess I could always just make like a little YouTube short kind of thing and then post the short into the Discord. I guess it would work that way. That way it would cover both at the same time. And those shorts, I can do that real quick right from my phone. They are kind of handy. That doesn't have to be any big deal. Just and it'll automatically upload and do its thing by itself, and then I'll just throw the link over in the Discord. With this new internet, that I got, I can upload videos like blink of an eye now. They take no time having a 1 gig upload. So that's the reason I did it. Really handy. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. Like I said, it's been a long day too. I ain't done a whole lot, but Monday, depending on the weather, I got a job to do. I go wash windows for this old woman in town. She hired me as a handyman, I guess you'd say. I don't know. $10 an hour, what the heck? A few other odds and ends to do, but nothing major. So take it easy, guys. Definitely stay safe. Keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention to what's going on around your area. And I will catch you all on the next one. I'm going to run in there and shut this thing down. Take it easy, guys.